Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, and self-defense. Now, here are your hosts, Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz.
Hey, folks, hey, welcome. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave, he's Lance, and there's Michael, right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are The Answer. This segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. The Gun Range San Diego. Go check them out. TheGunRangeSanDiego.com, TheGunRangeSanDiego.com. Special deals. In fact, I just seen posted on Facebook, 1,000 rounds, 9mm. I think it was $195.
$195, yep.
That's even cheaper than what I paid.
I was just there, and a lady was buying 1,000 rounds. I said, hey, that ammo deal's coming up July. You ought to buy a second, 1,000. She did. Yeah, and everyone should. Go down there. Gun Range
Without a
San Diego.
shadow of a doubt. All right. Hey, we got a special guest on the line.
Yeah, we do. But before we get started,
Yes.
real quick, Michael Schwartz has got some tables still available for the gun prom that's coming up on May 4th.
May 4th, gun prom.
Better hurry.
So, folks, if you got friends, bring your friends and go on to, what is it, Gun Prom?
Gunprom.com.
Yep.
Buy a ticket, buy a table. You can do either there, or if you want to help organize a table and just get 7 of your buddies to come together. And
This is a hell of a night.
yeah,
So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
You really ought to go.
And just go to gunprom.com. If you have any questions, email us or give us a call.
Yep.
But it's a big night. 600 people. Basically we want to show people, hey, we're here. We're a presence in San Diego and have a good time.
It's a lot of fun. That's the local boots on the ground. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to our Patriot friends down at Courtesy Chevrolet in the service department. A lot of good folks down there.
Really?
Like their ARs and AKs and
What
whatnot.
Chevy dealership?
That's Courtesy Chevrolet in beautiful Mission Valley, California.
I know those guys very
Beautiful.
well.
They do a wonderful job servicing my Tahoe.
Oh, that's right. You're getting ready to take the long trip.
I'm getting ready to take the long trip. Really good guys down
When are
there.
you leaving?
Not soon enough. Mike and I actually leave on Thursday. We're going to beautiful Pahrump, Nevada for the 6th annual charity shoot. We get back from that. I'm going to get back late Saturday night. And then following Friday, we take off and go on a big
Are
drive.
you coming into radio next Sunday?
I will. I think I will.
What about you, Smiley?
I'm not, but Joe Germisi's coming in.
Oh,
Teresa
okay, in your
coming in.
place. Okay, that'll work.
And Joe's fabulous, man. If anyone hasn't
Joe's
heard
really
Joe in
good.
a while, man, that guy's awesome.
All right. Hey, we got we got 2 people on the line.
Well, first is Rick Takahashi. He's a guy I just met yesterday, actually. We were at a range shoot for Cali Key, and Rick is a really interesting guy. He's an 11-time national title holder in surfing. He's a professional surfer.
Really?
Born and raised here in San Diego, big into shooting. He's, I believe, sponsored by a company called Victos. But, Rick, I wanted you to come on the line and talk with us a little bit about your favorite hobby, shooting.
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Good, man. Nice to talk to you.
Hey, Rick, I think
you too.
I think your favorite sport is surfing, isn't it?
Well, I've been doing it for so long, over 25 years. So it just seems like part of my life now.
Yes.
It's just what I do every single morning. Wake up at 5:30 and drive down to the beach.
The what do they call the Dawn Patrol, right?
And then after that, down to the range, I hope.
Well, usually if I get off a little early, I actually have a 9-to-5 job where I'm a video producer. But I try to get to the range as much as possible.
So here's what was real interesting about the conversation I had with Rick was, Rick, you also are the head of the surfing ministry at the Rock Church, right?
Yep, that's right.
And what do you guys talk a little bit about what you guys do?
So, someone said on a comment before is like, what does surfing have to do with God? And it's like the shooting also. It's the community and being part of it and being a positive influence in it. So we're not there to teach people surfing. We're there to impact the surfing community, which is, we're not Bible thumping. We're just there to be, a positive influence. Like I coach La Jolla High School, also their surf team, and just a positive role model in this world, actually.
And that's what was really interesting is, Rick's in all these different worlds, surfing and the videography that you do and the shooting and everything. And you were talking about how you, it's important for you to represent the sport of shooting and the Second Amendment and what all that means to these different groups. And I know before I started working for San Diego County gun owners, I remember the feeling of kind of having to hide the fact that you're a gun owner and you're into shooting when you're working the 9-to-5 job. But I was just really impressed with how well you integrate who you are, which is a gun owner, into every aspect of your life. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the company, usually like I don't know if I should say the name, but we have a healthy gun mail list, they call it, and we have like 300 people on the mail list that are pro Second Amendment, and sometimes we get together and do small shoots and stuff, but sometimes we just get together and what we say, breaking bread and just hanging out and having lunch or talking about stuff, and people who are like-minded. And the same in the surf community. It's not always surfing. It's pouring into relationships and stuff.
So in the surfing community in general, I actually went to high school in Hawaii, and a lot of the folks I knew were surfers. Nice. And yeah, it was awesome. It was really great. I was horrible at surfing, but it was everything else about Hawaii was fun. But I generally, my memory of the surfing community was that they were not anti-gun. In fact, I remember a lot of them were very into the sport of shooting. What's it like in the surfing community these days?
Well, it seems like, we're kind of like skater. We always started off skating, so we're kind of like rebels and trying to get out of school to go surfing and ditching classes and stuff. So I think it was kind of anti-establishment, as the school, high school, you're just trying to get out of school and stuff.
Right.
And the community is kind of like, against the current. But, it's kind of, I wouldn't say, left leaning, but it's kind of left leaning. There's a lot more questions I get asked out of any other community than the surf community. A lot of people ask me about it. And even in church, it seems like a lot of church people are conservative, and it's an easier conversation in church, it seems like.
Well, I know surfing has had to really embrace environmentalism. I mean, they've had to. That's your whole world, and there, I don't know, there may be a little bit of an influence there because the environmentalism in general is kind of on the same side as many of the people that I hate to stereotype. There are people that are pro-gun across the spectrum, but maybe that environmentalism has attracted people who are also not so fond of our Second Amendment rights. That might be part of it. I'm speculating.
Yeah, it's a lot. We just have to educate that community a little bit more. It seems like a lot of people who get to know me are the first person they ask that, hey, can you take me shooting? Can you, why do you like guns? And I go into the spiel about how it's a tool. It's when bad things happen, people have a plan. They already have a plan in place to do something to you. You have to overcome that power curve. And, unfortunately it's with a firearm, but, at the same time, luckily we're in the United States and we can have a firearm. So, yeah.
So talk a little bit. I was looking at is it Victos? Victos.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Victos website, and you're one of their representatives, I guess, or one of their athletes, and that's an impressive list, man. Jared Reston, my buddy Perry Yee. I don't know if you know Perry real well, but you get some really great. You're in very, very good company here. Talk a little bit about what Victos does and what your relationship is with them.
So I don't know if you know, but they're the Fox family, which is Thor Motorsports and Icon Motorsports. Wow. And the kids broke off, into what their passion was with this industry, the shooting community. So they put themselves, like anyone should do, put themselves around some good people. And the person who introduced me to them was my buddy Ben Mookie Thomas, who's a good friend of mine.
Former SEAL, and now,
yeah.
I don't know. Is he affiliated with James Yeager, or are they just friends?
They're just really good friends. Okay. And I met him actually at an alumni weekend at tactical response. And I do a lot of training out there. I'm going at the later this month to take fighting pistol again. I want to take it this time concealed carry. Last time I didn't take it concealed carry, but this one I want to do concealed. And yeah, they're good friends. The same with Chris Barrett and me and Chris Barrett. You know, I'm one of the guys for Chris Barrett also. And people always say, "Oh, do you get a 50 caliber?" I'm like, "No, they make ARs also."
Yeah,
you know?
So you get an AR. Nice. Well, Rick, I appreciate it very much. If anybody wants any more information on any of this, what do you have a website that you'd recommend they check out, or an Instagram, or?
I would. You know, I have an Instagram. I'd love people to follow me at because my sponsors love it. You know, for people to see their stuff and they just ask me to be me. So that's the best of both worlds.
What's your Instagram?
So it's at Rick RICKTAK 11, and 11's for 11 national titles.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so much for what you do, Rick. Thanks for coming on, and it was a pleasure meeting you yesterday. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate your time.
All right, buddy. Hey, tell everybody about our show.
I will, for sure. I posted already.
You're the man. All right, folks, we're going to take a small break. You're listening to FM 96.1, North County, AM 1170 in San Diego. The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 in North County, AM 1170 in San Diego. We are The Answer. Hey, folks, have you been dragging your feet making your AR rifle California legal in recognition of the new gun laws? Well, if you want your AR to have a pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Whether you're buying a new AR or need to make your current AR compliant, Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all these horrible California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapons for personal protection? Well, do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, what would you do if you were involved in an incident and got arrested, maybe because it was gun related? What would you do? Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you'll have a peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you at the end of a phone call. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com, or call them at 469-310-9100, 469-310-9100. In fact, when you call, and hope you don't, but if you do, you might get John Dillon, attorney at law at Gasky Dillon and Balance LLP, your number one stop for any issues with the law and your guns, weapons of any kind. John will chat with you. All you have to do is call him at 760-431-9501 or go to cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com. Right now we got John Dillon on the line. How you doing, John?
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen?
Doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing well. So I know that I have been doing a lot of kind of legal legislative updates recently, but I thought that I might touch on a topic that seems to come up, pretty regularly, and it doesn't have to do with current residents of California, but I thought I'd give a little heads up to anyone who's thinking of moving to California and what they need to do with their firearms according to the California state laws. How does that sound?
That's awesome. That's a question I get a lot. So this is somebody that's moving to California from another state, and they want to know what do they have to do with their firearms when they move in. Is that
exactly
okay?
So on the foundation, when you move into California and you have firearms, and you're going to be bringing those firearms with you, California calls you a personal firearms importer because, of course, we need to have a legal name for someone who's just moving with their guns. But essentially is this: when you are a personal firearms importer, you must report your firearms and register them with the state of California or the Department of Justice. You have 60 days to do so after 60 days from the date you bring those firearms in with you when you move. And you're required to submit what's called a new resident report of firearm ownership, along with a $19 check. And you are required to list all your firearms, the make, the model, caliber or serial number, and that then gets registered to your name in California. And I know just the thought of that alone will keep many people from moving to California. But that is what is required. You have 60 days to do that. The other things you got to be aware of when you're moving into this state is, obviously, we have some very strict and broad definitions of what is considered an assault weapon. So many guns that in essentially most every state in this country, which are 100% legal to purchase from any gun store, and don't require any specialized permits or registration or fees, are considered super evil, dangerous guns that, will just kill everyone in the vicinity in California. And mainly these are, AR-15 style firearms or AK style firearms. But the definition of assault weapon in California, as you guys know, encompasses all sorts of semi-automatic rifles. But essentially, the key to know about, possible assault rifles is you cannot bring them into the state when you move. They have to be compliant before you bring them into the state. Otherwise, you are going to be breaking the law. So if you have any type of AK, AR, semi-automatic rifle with, pistol grips, collapsible stocks, flash hiders, anything like that, before you move, you're going to need to make sure that it's compliant. Now, we've already had our assault weapon registration time period in California, so you can't register them as assault weapons and, keep all your standard features and magazine releases. So you're either going to have to, switch to a fixed magazine solution or go featureless with your rifles. So I encourage anyone, considering moving to California that has any type of semi-automatic rifle, really, to look up the laws and do your research. You consult with, FFLs in the area. You consult with attorneys like myself to get a better understanding of what is and what is not illegal in this state. But that's a big thing to do, and you got to do all of that before even coming in. So
let me just to recap. So you're moving into California. You have, you bring your firearms. You have 60 days to register them. There's a form on the DOJ website. It's $19, but you still have to comply before you step foot into California. You still have to comply with the assault weapon law or ban in California. So you can't bring what California would consider an assault weapon. It has to be California compliant before you move into the state. Is that?
Yes.
What about pistols that aren't on the safe handgun roster?
So as a new resident coming in, you are allowed, like Michael's saying here, we have the California handgun roster, which designates which handguns are able to be sold by FFLs within the state. If you're moving into California and you have a gun that's not on that roster, that is okay. California allows you to bring that handgun with you, but you have to still, register it and file it under that firearms ownership report. One thing with handguns that kind of crosses over with assault weapons too, though, is in many states it is totally fine to have a pistol or semi-automatic pistol with a threaded barrel with a compensator or anything like that.
Yeah.
Under California's laws, you can have an assault weapon on your hands with if you have a pistol with a threaded barrel. So again, you need to check all your guns to make sure that they also don't fall under the definition of assault weapon, because certain pistols can also do so. And the last thing I'd probably say is, high capacity magazines are another thing that are an issue in the state of California, we have limits to 10 rounds. So you can't be having your normal standard capacity magazines when you're moving into California.
Bringing them into the state of California is a felony, isn't it?
Yeah, do not bring them into the state of California. Just the possession alone is illegal, and that's not even bringing them in and importing them into the state. It's all of these, can cause serious criminal liability, especially with assault weapons, high capacity magazines, anything like that. I mean, if you have an assault weapon charge, that's generally a felony charge, and they can be very serious. And again, with an assault weapon charge, it's an assault weapon. Each one is its own charge. So if you bring in 5 rifles that are not compliant, that is 5 felony charges potentially.
Well, let me ask you a kind of a related question that has come up a lot. Grandpa wants to buy grandpa lives in Oregon. He wants to buy his granddaughter a pistol so that she can, defend herself, whatever. Can he? How do you do that? Can he do that? And if he can, what's the best way to do it? Can she go visit him? They go shopping and buy it and then bring it back into the state, even though it's not on the safe handgun roster? Like, how does that work?
There are ways to gift firearms. Now, they only apply to the up and down family line, so parents, children, grandparents, no aunts, uncles, no brothers, sisters, anything like that. So the vertical line, it's referred to as a interstate intrafamilial transfer, and by bequest or gift. And there are ways to do that. Essentially, the firearm would be purchased by someone out of state if the family member lives out of state, and it gets sent through an FFL to an FFL in the state, and they would accompany that with information and that would show that this was a gift. And there are certain exemptions to the handgun roster for items like that. Many FFLs do understand that process, and I encourage anyone who has a dad, a mom, grandparent out of state that felt like getting you a firearm for Christmas. There are ways to do so, but just make sure you do it properly and talk with the right people beforehand. And just if there's any anti-gun people that are listening in, we're not talking about illegal internet purchasing. Everyone goes through a background check. Everyone does a 10-day wait. So there's no issues like that. All of that is still required, but the handgun roster may not be required in certain circumstances.
So, okay, well, unfortunately, we burned through that really quick. Again, folks, that's John Dillon. I'm telling you, if you ever need a good lawyer, it's Gatsky, Dillon and Balance, LLP. Go to cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com, or you can call them straight at 6760-431-9501. Thanks, John. Take care, and hope nobody needs you.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right, buddy. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170. We are The Answer, and this segment's brought to you by, hey, folks, have you been dragging your feet making your AR rifle legal in recognition of the new gun laws? Well, get off the stick. If you want your AR to have a pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, you need to check out Cali Key. Or that, just get rid of your rifle. You don't want to do that, so go to Cali Key. Whether you're buying a new one or just need to fix yours up, Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that'll allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those horrible California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford. That's Cali Key. Go to CaliKey.com. That's CaliKey.com. KaliKey.com. All right, hey, this segment brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego. We got Casey calling in, 7853 Balboa Avenue, 7 days a week. 10 to 10. I call it the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. Go to www.thegunrangesandiego.com, thegunrangesandiego.com, and once you go, you will be hooked. Hey, Casey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Living the dream.
Man, I was down there watching Casey haul around 1,000 rounds of 9mm to people.
Yeah, I've sold another 7,000 since you left.
Awesome, baby. You know,
we're at about 15,000 plus for the day sold.
You know, for
I'm looking at it correctly,
$1.95 for 1,000 rounds, and you know, of 9mm, everybody should have a couple thousand. That's a hell of a price.
Yeah, you know, we try to match all the online pricing. You know, out the door cost for the 1,000 would be $210, $11. I already know it because I've looked at it so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, for 1,000 rounds, that's a good time to stock up on it, at least for that price. I mean, we always do bulk prices. This is going to be a little bit lower than our normal, so you know, it's a good time if you guys are looking to get some 9mm. Come get it. We got it.
Well, my good friend Cindy, her family, she took her family in. It was her son's girlfriend's birthday, and she asked what she wanted to do. She said she wanted to go shooting. So they were just there a couple hours ago, all first-time shooters. They had a ball. They loved it. Rented some guns and got a lane and just had a really, really good time. So thank you guys so much for taking such good care of Cindy and her family. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. You know, it's what we're here for. You know, that's the cool thing about being a rental range is you have such a wide demographic of people that come in. I mean, you know, before I came on the radio here, I was talking to this couple that came in there. She was terrified of guns. She's never wanted to touch one. She's like, I'll just sit back and watch you. And we talked her into it. We got her to shoot once. She's like, wow, this is actually really fun. You know, it's always that fear of the unknown that first time. You know, yeah, you have a small explosion going off in your hands, but it's controlled because you're in control of it. You know, when it comes up to first shooters, and especially ones that are very, very nervous, we work with them. You know, we don't want somebody to be afraid of it. And what I'll always do is I'll just put one bullet in, just one, if it's a semi-auto, just so they can know, okay, it's just one shot. Let me test it out. Cool, that wasn't so bad. Load up another mag. Let's go.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it gets pretty fun there. So, yeah, right now we only got about a 30-minute wait. So, you know, for a Saturday, it's moving along pretty darn good.
Yeah, and a Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, Saturday, Sunday.
You know that time change thing, man.
You know, I forgot about that. I was driving in. I was looking at my watch or my phone, and I was like, it says noon right now. I'm looking at my truck. It says 11. I was like, what is going on? I was like, oh, time change. Good times. Yeah, so for a little tech tip of the week, we're going to be talking about, you know, firearms for self-defense. You know, I'm not going to go into legalities of self-defense and whatnot because, you know, it's not my place to do that. I'm just going to talk about some of the options and pros and cons for it because it is the number one thing when people come in and you're like, you know what, I want to buy my first gun for home defense. Cool. I can work with this on that. A lot of times we'll have people come in and like, yeah, I want to get an AR-15 to defend my house. I'm thinking, well, you know, that's not the optimal choice right now. You know, we're not in the military.
If you got a couple acres, it ain't bad.
Yeah. But when you have people in apartment buildings and stuff like that, townhouses where it's next door to next door, me personally, I wouldn't do it for the exact reason of over-penetration. You know, you have these AR-15s and whatnot. The 5.56, it's a pretty hot round. Like, it's flying pretty fast. And what a lot of people don't understand that is, you know, when you see it in movies, you know, people hide behind a couch or hide behind a table and stuff, and it stops the bullets. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
These bullets are designed to penetrate. So, you know, if, God forbid, you're in a self-defense situation and you're using a rifle, say an AR-15 or something like that, you have to be very cautious and know what's on the wall behind the bad guy. Because, you know, more than likely the round will hit them, go through them, and then through the next three walls behind them.
Yeah.
You have to take those things into account. And so it's not always, but for the first one, I'll try to steer them clear from, you know, an AR-15 or something like that for home defense. You know, if they want something like a long gun, I'll always take them over to a shotgun. You know, a 12 gauge, even a 20 gauge will be perfectly fine if you're using buckshot and whatnot, because it's not going to over penetrate. And it's pretty easy and they're pretty darn reliable. You know, when it comes down to that, semi-automatic shotguns, they are reliable, but, you know, semi-automatics, there's a lot more moving parts to it, so it can be slightly unreliable considered to the pump actions or whatnot. I don't know if you guys seen it, but they have those tactical double-barrel shotguns out there now with lasers and lights on it. And just like,
rails.
Well, Yeah. Is it look cool? Yeah, but, you know, if I'm in a home defense situation, I want as many rounds as I can just in case, you know. Having those 2 shots and then having to fumble around with a break action, is it practical? Not necessarily. So when it comes to shotguns, I like to, you know, keep people over the Mossbergs, the Remington 870s, just because they're easy to use. We have both of them on the range for people to test out. Downside of shotguns, they do have some recoil. Perks to it, point in the general direction, you'll most likely hit them. Not only that, the most terrifying sound to me is a shotgun racking.
Yes, sir.
You know exactly what that is. You've watched enough movies. Everybody knows what it is. See,
even if you haven't heard it before, you know what it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're sitting there. You hear a slide. You go, like, That sounded like a shotgun. No. It's a good deterrent, you know, just that sound alone, you know, and when it comes to that, you know, voice commands, start yelling at people, hey, I got a shotgun here and I got a level at this door. You come in here, bad day. So shotguns, excellent when buckshot.
Yeah, in an interview, Vice President at the time, Joe Biden, actually said that all you needed was a double-barrel shotgun, and then you just fire it into the air. Those are his exact instructions.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming with 30 years of politics under his belt and being the Vice President that he's a firearms and self-defense expert. Would you agree that was good advice?
No.
No.
I'm shocked.
One, I mean, if you're in your house and you fire one in the house, you know, if you're in the house and you just fire a shot up, well, you just put a hole through your roof or through the wall next door to it. You know, if you're brandishing a firearm, it better be in self-defense where somebody's trying to take your life. You know, a lot of times when people using voice commands and stuff, that's the purpose of it. But, you know, get out of here, bang, I'm going to shoot in the air. Would it scare you? Yeah, probably. Is it the most effective thing out there? No. But, again, you know, he's Vice President Joe Biden. How long has he had Secret Service protecting him?
Sure.
That'd be cool.
No
you
kidding.
know, how long has he had armed bodyguards whose sole purpose in life is to protect him? So, yeah, he can say that in his mind. It's like, oh, that's all I got to do. The most reliable thing out there? No. So, yeah, shotguns. Excellent. Buckshot, good. Slugs, they're good because of penetration, but at the same time, you can get that over penetration to it because, you know, you got a 1 ounce slug going down range. It does got some pop to it. And then you go over to your pistols, you know, semi-automatics versus revolvers. Revolvers inherently more reliable, a little bit easier to use. One of the complaints we get for a lot of female shooters is they have a little issue racking the slide sometimes when they're trying to load the pistol. Ways to get around that, practicing. A lot of people put their sights on hook your sight on the nightstand. You can rack the slide that way. So they both have their pros and cons to it. It being, 9mm, 45, 357. You still have to worry about over penetration, but it's not as bad as, say, an AR-15 or a shotgun or whatnot. Smaller, easier to use, keep more concealed, keep it locked in a nightstand. Shotguns, you're going to have a little bit more room for it, locked in the safe. You got those wall mount safes where you press 2 buttons and it unlocks for you. So there's a lot of things that come into it, but it really comes down to what's going to work best for you and what you're the most comfortable with. And as I always say, train with it. You can keep a gun in there, buy a gun and you never use it. Well, if that time comes, are you really prepared?
Good question.
Always good questions. But yeah, so when it comes to that, revolvers are always good. I like revolvers. It's kind of a smaller group that likes them. They are excellent because, you don't have to worry about rack on the side. You can cock the hammer. Downside of it, a lot more recoil. We have this little 357 in here. It's a little snub nose, the Smith & Wesson Airway, if I remember correctly. Is it small, easy to use? Yes. Does it kick like a mule? Oh, yes.
Hey, let me ask you.
Downside of those rollers.
You were talking about ammo for shotguns, and there's the most common is either birdshot or buckshot. But there's also, and then of course slug. But there's also like Winchester and some of the others make these hybrid rounds that are, it's like 1 slug and like 3 little shot
3
rather than 9.
it.
Yeah, what's your opinion of those?
So I haven't had too much experience in them, but from what I've looked into them, they're excellent rounds. You do get good penetration. The ones I've seen where it's basically it looks like a hollow point in your slug. So they'll cut the slides of it, so when it hits, it expands, and then inside of that they'll have like 3 or 4 pellets. So when it hits, it sends these pellets out, and then the slug expands even more. from what I've read on it, the penetration on it is excellent for home defense, and the over penetration is kind of null and void because of that expansion on it. So it's basically like a hollow point slug for a shotgun. And I've heard great things about them. I should probably get some here.
Yeah, I've messed with the Winchester. I think it's PDX. I think is what it is. The Winchester.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, the personal defense something extreme, I believe what it is.
Something like that. I haven't. Of course, I don't have access to gel, so I couldn't mess with the. I couldn't experiment on the penetration part, but they are very consistent. You'll get a slug dead center, and then you'll get 3 approximately 9mm holes, just inches outside of that slug.
Right.
Very, very, very consistent.
Yeah, I mean, if that's a route if those work, they work great.
Yeah.
That's just how it comes to it. Buckshot's going to work great. I mean, and it really depends on what type of target you're shooting, like other places, like Midwest and everything. If it's really cold, people are going to be bundling up. So you have to take an effect of that. So I feel like those rounds would be excellent for that. That slug's going to hit it hard, and then the buckshot, the rounds are just going to, be the coup de grace, I guess you can say.
All right. Hey, man, thank you very much for taking time out of your day. Get back to work. I'm sure you got some dusting to do.
I got some guns to clean for us here.
Probably Lance's, huh?
Maybe.
All right, folks. Gun Sports Radio. Thanks to Gun Range San Diego. We appreciate everything they do. 7853 Balboa Avenue, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Check out the website, thegunrangesandiego.com. All right, we're going to take a small break. We come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio. Folks, welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170. It's intelligent conservative talk radio, and we are the answer. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapon for personal protection? Well, do you have or are you going to get a CCW? What would you do if you're involved in an incident? What is your plan to pay for bail and a lawyer? Well, talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you will have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your whole family. That's Firearms Legal Protection. Go to firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 844-357-9400, and make sure you tell them you heard it right here on KCBQ AM 1170. All right, Mike, you got the kid on the line?
You got the kid?
Absolutely. Sam, you there?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. Time for another episode and round of Stump My Nephew.
You got that chocolate milk ready?
No, this time it's grape juice.
Grape juice.
What kind of glass are you using?
The same one.
Which one's that?
San Diego County Gun Owners.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Yes, we got to teach you about promotions. You're never going to get a check if you don't get your act together there, young man.
Guess who's flying into San Diego tomorrow?
Hey, man.
Oh, you coming in tomorrow?
Indeed I am.
Yes, he is in the flesh.
Is anybody picking you up, or is he making you use Uber?
He's going to Uber it. Yeah.
You are not. I'll go pick him up.
No, the plan is Laura's going to pick me up at the airport, and then,
and then party.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
Then we're going to party.
That's
Take him
the
around.
hope.
You can either ride in a Buick or you can ride in a Maserati.
Oh, yeah.
You have a
Dave's got the
Maserati this week?
today.
Didn't you see it
Yeah.
sitting out there? That
Didn't
big
you bump
white
into
thing?
it on the way in?
That's the one you scrape the mirror
Is that what
off
that
with
thing
that
is?
Jeep
Yeah.
of yours.
That white thing.
Put my initials on the
That's
fender.
okay. You can ride in a
Maserati.
Buick. I mean, if that's what you want to do.
not really a Maserati guy myself, but do you got any Volvos?
You know, it's funny. I got what have I got coming tomorrow? An S60 R T6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and then you're going to be, you're leaving Thursday, right?
We're leaving Thursday, yeah.
We're all driving up
Maybe we
to
can get together or something.
Harump.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
Here-
yeah, we
the
got
question. We got to ask
You
him a
can't talk
question.
cars? We
Yeah,
can't
this
talk
is
cars?
This is gun sports radio, not car sports.
Oh, I got you.
All right, so this one comes from one of our members who does a whole lot for us. His name's Pete, And Pete's doing a little recovering right now for some health reasons. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I am going to wish you the very, very best, Pete, on your recovery. You're doing a great job, and we're all pulling for you very much. So he writes, he wanted to submit a question for Stump My Nephew. And here's the question. Okay. There were two famous submachine guns of World War II, one from the Finns and one from the Russians. The Finns had the, hopefully I'm saying this right, the Suomi KP-31. At 10 pounds, rugged, reliable, and accurate, with its 71-round drum magazine, it fired the 9x19 Luger Parabellum. The Russians copied many of the Suomi KP-31 features in their PPSH-41. So here is the question. Would the Russian PPSH-41 fire the same ammunition as the Finnish Suomi?
All right, Pete, thanks for sending in the question. I'm sorry to hear about your condition, and I hope you're feeling better. The PPSH-41 used the, at the time, Soviet standard 7.62 by 25 millimeter cartridge.
That's exactly right. Also called the Tokarev, which was a rimless bottleneck, which was different from the Finnish. So that's exactly right.
Wow.
As soon as you knew how to pronounce the name correctly, I knew you were going to get this one.
Yeah, so the 7.62 by 25, they stopped using it in, I think, the 50s or 60s when they adopted the Makarov because it was much simpler to produce than the Tokarev. But there's sort of this perennial minor interest in the cartridge because people look at it and they say, well, it shoots this really light bullet at for a pistol cartridge, it's, I don't know, like 85 grains or something at a much higher velocity than most pistol cartridges, so it has better penetration. But there aren't really any companies that produce good defensive loads, at least that I've seen, because there aren't really any modern pistols that fire it, and there's just not enough interest. It's almost kind of unfortunate.
Wow. That's amazing, Sam. That's very, very cool. Which one do you prefer? If you had to be transported in time back to World War II, would you go with the Finnish one, or would you go with the Ruski?
It all depends on supply, really. I guess whichever one was available and had magazines and ammunition.
Yeah, that professionals study. How does it go? Amateurs study tactics. Professionals study
strategy, I think.
Yeah. Is that what it is? So there you go. Awesome job, Sam. That's very cool. Are you looking forward to coming out and going to front sight?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of question? I mean, he answers pretty good. Well, that's because other people ask those questions. That's what that.
Well, I'm making him shoot a Glock, so that's the only thing.
You're making him shoot a Glock.
Is he getting the Glock when he's up there? Or
does anybody have to make you shoot anything?
Well, you're not a big Glock guy, right? Am I to understand that?
No one has to make me shoot anything, but I guess most of it is probably because I haven't done a lot of shooting with Glocks, but I really am not a fan of the grip angle.
Well,
I know it's kind of a finicky thing, like who cares about the grip angle, but I don't know, it's just my preference. I'll shoot it. They're reliable. They're, they've got a proven track record. They're some of the best handguns out there.
So what's your pistol of choice then?
I don't know. I haven't shot a lot of the kinds of pistols you would want for like duty-sized modern handguns, but I happen to be partial to the 1911 because of the trigger. I know it's kind of obsolescent, but anyone who's shot a 1911 immediately knows what I'm talking about. It's got that amazing crisp single stage trigger.
Well, I know your dad has a 1911. Your grandfather has an old Remington Rand, like Korea War circa.
Yeah, so it was 1945 production, and it looks like it just rolled off the line.
Did Grandpa let you shoot it yet, or?
No, that's not the kind of gun you'd want to shoot. That's the kind you would want to put on display.
Which 1911 do you like to shoot?
My dad's. It's a 1911 A1 mil spec. Nothing fancy.
You tried any of the Springfields, like the TRP operator?
No modern 1911s.
I'd have bring him one.
Hey, that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
Hey, would you rather go through front sight with a fancy schmancy 1911? Because Lance going to be there. He can hook you up.
Yeah, well,
I'd rather, as much as I like 1911s, I would probably rather go through front sight with pretty much any modern handgun that isn't a 1911.
All right.
Because they've got the capacity, they've got slightly better reliability or much better reliability, depending on who makes the 1911 in question. And it's like they've got 100 more years of design improvement under their belt. So
yeah,
it's kind of a no-brainer for me.
That's true, but I actually last couple times I brought my 1911 and you're right, the magazine capacity, I know they're kind of small, so I get a cheater and I get a 10-round mags that I bring, and that's worked out pretty good. Except the slide on that TRP operator, it's got a pretty heavy-duty spring, and they do a lot of these drills, and by the time you're done, 2 days,
done.
My hands are done. 4 days, I'm over the top done. So this time I'm bringing my Glock 43.
I had a buddy who brought a Beretta 92, and by about day 3, all his fingers were taped up.
You do so many drills. You're going to be really happy you're going to be on the Glock, believe it or not.
Yeah, he turned around and he said, by the end of the week, I'm going to have a Glock 19.
Your hands
and
are
he went
toast.
back to Texas and bought a Glock 19.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
it's in my mind, it's kind of like, would you rather drive a Jeep from the 70s or 80s or like, any car from the teens or 20s?
Yeah.
But with that same token, if somebody says, Sam, how'd you like to drive this for free? You drive it. Right?
Well, you don't go to front sight to have fun shooting. You go to front sight to train for defensive handgun shooting.
This guy's a pragmatist.
He's absolutely right, because truth be told, I don't really have a lot of fun there. I just go there for training.
And it always cracks me up when you come back. He goes, that's it, man. I'm not doing that again.
I always say I'm not doing it.
And then next year comes around and he's all fired up. His hands are healed and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Hey, well, thanks a lot. Hopefully we'll run in. See, you're staying until, he's staying until next week, right?
Yeah. Well, he's actually going to fly back out of Vegas, but I'm pretty sure we got to work that. You're coming out for gun prom too, so.
Yeah, it looks like it if I can get everything working. So far, it's looking like I'll be able to.
Sweet. All right, folks. Well, we're going to have to hit the dusty trail. We want to thank all our great sponsors, San Diego County Gun Owners. Go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. Join up. TheGunRangeSanDiego.com. CAFirearmsLaw.com. FirearmsLegal.com. And CaliKey.com. Hey, don't go too far. We're going to teach you everything there is to know about propane. That's right. Yak Radio with Dave Stahl. FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.